We have 6 months left until 2026. We're at the halfway mark. Where are you with your goals? Let's talk about it. Hey girl, hey guy, it's Ty and welcome back to Ty's Adulting Handbook. On this channel, we discuss all things practical life skills, personal development, and things you just wish your parents would have taught you in order to prepare for this thing called life. On this episode, we're gonna go ahead and do a mid-year check-in. How are you looking with your goals? Now remember, we listen, but we don't judge, okay? As I'm recording this video, we're currently at the end of June 2025. And I know a lot of times we all need a little bit of accountability. I'm not here to jump on you. I just want to do a check-in to see how things are going. Consistently, I'm always thinking about my life, and every year is like, this is my year. You know, something different is going to happen. I'm going to make more money and things of that nature. And for myself, I think back on all the times where I would write things down, not hold myself accountable, and then I'm pretty much in the same place when the new year came. I probably didn't lose the weight I wanted to lose. I didn't start that new maybe side hustle or transition into a new job that would pay me more money. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So in this video, I wanted to narrow it down. I wanted to go through a few of my goals for 2025, but I'm gonna just go over one goal. And with that one goal, I wanted to actually go over SMART goals. Have you ever heard of SMART goals? The acronym: specific, measurable, attainable or achievable, relevant, and time bound. I know people have goals like what I was saying previously, like, oh, I may want to lose weight before the year is over. I want to have a better relationship with my family, maybe have a closer relationship with God, and all of those things, right? While all of those things are great, how specific did you get with those goals? So as we're going to go ahead and hop into some SMART goals, and we're going to talk about my specific goal. That way we can look at whatever your goals are, right? And you can see how you can apply it to the SMART goal acronym. I want you to know that even though you're watching this and you're saying, Ty, why are you talking about SMART goals? It's mid-year. It's the end of June 2025, and that's something that should have been maybe talked about end of December or going into January of 2025. Listen. The new year starts when it starts for you, not necessarily what everyone else says, if that makes sense. When you want to make changes in your life, you want to hold yourself accountable, you want to get through those goals, have an accountability partner and things of that nature, it starts when you say it starts. Okay, so the goal that I want to go ahead and go over is that my YouTube goal. Now, it's funny because when I look at my vision board, I didn't put anything specific. It just says YouTube. So it's funny how, I'm making this video, but I literally wrote YouTube. I didn't write any specifics. I didn't write any deadlines. I didn't write anything, because sometimes, in a sense, starting is enough, right? You just want to start and be consistent and see how it goes from there. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. So specific goals should be clear and concise. You want to ask yourself, what is it that I actually want to achieve with setting this goal for myself? So let's make sure we're being specific. So let's go ahead and use my example with speaking about YouTube. So previously, this was actually a natural hair channel, and I thought to myself, I actually wanted to go through the process of doing a rebranding, right? So I thought to myself, I actually want to talk about some things that I'm a little bit more passionate about. You know, how can I create a community and help other people and create value while also learning something new? And let's be honest, getting up and going to work and following the same routine every week, it can be very routine and very monotonous, right? So for myself, I said, I want to do something that's challenging, where I'm going to learn, create value, create community, and things of that nature. All right, so the next one that we're going to go into is measurable. Goals should include measurable criteria in order to track progress. Ask yourself, how will I know when it's accomplished? So with me speaking about YouTube, in my mind, how will I know that I've accomplished a goal? Well, a lot of people that's watching this, whether a content creator or not, there are certain things that we're looking at, right? We want to be able to fully understand our analytics, make sure we're being super consistent, making sure we're providing value and we're receiving comments and feedback and things of that nature, right? How will I measure it? I want to see a level of consistency for 3 to 6 months, right? Level of consistency of a lot of back and forth, growth, trial and error, of course, right? So 3 to 6 months of going through those things. And then, of course, eventually brand deals, sponsorships. Like once I see things happening in a consistent way and I'm learning more and I'm building on top of that, that's how I'm able to measure that. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and go into the next one. So the next one is achievable or attainable. Goals should be realistic and within your abilities or resources. Ask yourself, do you have the tools and the time in order to get this done? And do you even think it's possible for you? First off, I'm gonna tell you, it's absolutely possible for you. Now, with speaking about myself, right? So one thing I found is that I have the tools. Yeah, I have my phone. I have the time to be able to do it. But to get a little more specific into time, one major thing that I did in order to give myself a better opportunity of time, actually, let me back it up a little bit. So before I worked the commuter 9 to 5, and this is recent, before I was working the commuter 9 to 5 schedule, like I'm getting up early, getting dressed, driving in rush hour traffic, over an hour, working from 8:30 to 5:30, driving over an hour to get home. And then at that point, when we talk about time, I honestly didn't have any kind of mental space left after doing a full work day and commuting and then making it home at the end of the day, right? So one thing that I actually did, which so far is going really well, I actually quit my job and went back to a previous company. And I did that because I knew that the schedule was pretty flexible and it wasn't that bad when I was working there. I actually enjoyed it. So I have an open schedule where it's more flexible, where I'm able to start a later work day. I don't have to commute as far. Some days I don't even have to go into the office. Right now I'm in a learning beginning stage, so I want to go into the office. That way I can learn as much as possible, and then I can slowly transition to more of a hybrid role. So that was something that I did in order to make sure that I was able to make time to be able to step into my goal being achievable or attainable. That was honestly the only thing that was working against me, being exhausted after working, and just by the time the weekend came, you just wanted to relax. So now, as you guys are watching this, this is, I believe, my 5th upload on this new rebranding channel. And in order for me to have been able to have gotten this far, I had to think back in regards to my SMART goals, right? With this one, we're talking about attainable, or is it attainable or achievable? And one thing with me talking about how my day-to-day was, I was just exhausted and things of that nature. Now, with me going back to that company and having a better schedule, I did what was necessary. I thought long and hard, and I said, well, I can maybe move this around and then my schedule will be open. That way I can have that mental creativity and that time to really record and upload and edit and do all those things. So this is just something to learn from. If there's something in your life, if there's a goal that you want to achieve, think of what you need to change or move around in order to be able to have more flexibility in order to be able to achieve those goals. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and go into the next one, relevant. Goals should matter to you and align with broader objectives. Okay, so with this one, you want to ask yourself, does this goal support my overall mission? Does it support my overall mission or purpose? So for myself, most definitely, 1,000%. What I'm doing with my YouTube, it does support my goals, my overall mission, my purpose. If you all had a chance to watch my previous video, I did speak about the fact that I do have a younger sister, and she's in this window of wanting to venture out in life. She has a lot of questions. She's never lived on her own. She's curious about this and that. And I'm being, the big sister, right? So not only am I here to be a big sister to her in real life, but a virtual big sister or auntie, whatever works. I remember when I was younger, I was her age or maybe a little bit older. I was in a place of trying to figure it all out, and I felt like I didn't really have anybody to talk to. One thing I told myself, and I believe it's pretty true. I mean, as long as you have money, you can figure out the rest, right? You have to have money for emergencies, for things you know nothing about. As long as you're making the income that you need to make for yourself, you can figure out the rest. In addition to that, anything that goes over encouraging others, focusing on your personal development. I'm actually a personal development nerd. I just recently, on yesterday, went to Barnes & Noble and got 2 books. If you guys want to see, like, I picked up The Secret, and I've heard a lot about it, and I just purchased it. And then also Stephen Covey's 7 Habits to Highly Effective People, right? So I'm definitely into personal development. That's something that I want to be able to create value and purpose, and I have a broader objective in order to help others. So of course I have to sharpen the saw and keep my brain sharp in order to be able to help others. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and go into the next one. So the next one is time bound. Goals should have a deadline or time frame. So you wanna ask yourself, when do you wanna have this goal completed? Please don't do what a lot of people do. They'll set a goal and never put a date next to it. They'll never put a date next to it, right? And of course, with this video, we're talking about it's mid-year, we have 6 months left until 2026 and all those things. I know that for a fact that you have to put some kind of date in order to slowly work towards the goal. I won't lie, I've had this vision board up and it's been up since December 31st, 2024 is when we did it. And it's been up on my wall, and I probably didn't pay attention to it until about March or so, right? So any goal that you want to have, make sure you have it put up on the wall, on a Post-it note when you're brushing your teeth, in your closet, wherever. That way you're looking at it all the time. But when it comes to time bound, always put a date next to your goal, because if not, you're just gonna say someday I'll do it. Okay, for the week we have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Someday is not on there, right? So make sure you put a date next to it. So for my goals with YouTube, between now and towards the end of the year, I really want to see what I can do, right? I want to say the cutoff is actually January 2026, you know, just with me showing a level of consistency with uploading, learning more, reading more, scripting more, editing more, just, you know, consuming to the degree of where I'm able to put that back into my content. And I always think of it this way, right? If you don't put a date next to it and it's just sitting there, just think of like, okay, say if you feel like your life is okay right now, you have time to do, think of how it's like something can always pop up or go wrong. And you wish that you, when nothing was going on, you wish that you had put in that time, you've put in that effort, no matter whatever the goal is, right? If your goal is to work out and you haven't been working out, you've been eating bad, and then you have to go to the doctor and the doctor's like, yeah, now you have to lose weight. You have to lose weight or X, Y, and Z is gonna happen to you. You know, put a date next to whatever goal that you wanna have. And I know that could have been a bit scary and extreme, right? But just with any goal that you have, put a date by it, put it up somewhere, that way you can see it time after time, and eventually subconsciously it's going to come to you. You'll be driving a car and you're like, oh, I kind of think I want to kind of slowly work on this a little bit here and there. Let me put together a to-do list to plan and prepare. So it's super important to put times next to your goals in order to make sure that you get them done. All right, so this sums it up for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it and definitely learned something from it. Now, with me going over SMART goals, I want you to remember that you have to run your own race with any goals that you set for yourself. But the most important thing is that you have to start. You have to start in order to, wherever your timeline leads you, you have to start in order to achieve the goal at some point. So don't feel pressured to get anything done by December 2025, especially if you haven't started, or if you're like, oh my God, I have 6 months and I have to do X, Y, and Z. Take your time, write down your SMART goals, be specific, measurable, make sure they're achievable or attainable, make sure they are relevant, and make sure they are time bound, okay? All right, thanks so much for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.